Once again, you are welcome to this tutorial, which is dedicated to creating an analytic web app using Streamlit. We'll be doing this without using a single line of HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. We'll be basing this on Python Streamlit, which is a user and beginner-friendly framework. So without wasting our time, let's dive straight into the VS Code and continue with the tutorials. Yes, now we are in our VS Code where we are going to write our code. And for those that are new to these tutorials, we have dedicated videos that explain prior prerequisite. For example, how to download and install VS Code, how to download and install Python, also how to set up your Python in VS Code, how to create a visual environment in VS Code, and also how to create a project folder. Those are the things we had to come by first before before we can step at this point. But if you think you can go with us from this point, you are very much welcome. So another thing is, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, also like this channel, and also remember to put on your notification, to click your notification button, so that when new video comes in, you'll be one of the first to get notified. Back to our tutorial. First and foremost, what we want to do majorly in this video is to install all the necessary libraries needed for this project and move on with our codes. And for us to do that, we have mentioned earlier that we've created our our project folder, which we have here, Rail app. Let me give you a glimpse of that. We have it here. It's called Rail app, which have just a file here, which is main.py, and we have it here, which is main.py, which is open at this point in time. So what we need to do now is to itemize all the libraries we need to install for this project. And for us to do that, we will create a file called requirements. We create a folder called requirement. For us to do that, we come down here, create new. When you create new, you write requirements.txt. So we enter. So we have our requirements here. So what do we require for this project? First and foremost, we need Streamlit, which is what this project is pivoted on, and we use this basically for the web development. Streamlit will be used majorly for the web development. The next is Plotly Express. Plotly Express is definitely what we're going to use in this project for visualization. We'll be creating charts, we'll be creating line graph and likes of them. So we'll be using Plotly. We'll be using Plotly for that. So the next is Pandas. Pandas is majorly for data frame manipulation. We'll be reading CSV file. We'll be reading and manipulating CSV. We'll be using Pandas to do that. And the next is Numerize. Numerize is just here for us to manage large decimal or large numbers. For example, in millions, in million and billions. So Numerize helps us to reduce this to a sizable number for our project. So these are the major requirements needed for this project. As time goes on, if we need any other one, we'll add it to the list of requirements and we move on. So next, what we're going to do, we we have to create a visual environment where all these requirements will be embedded. So we are going to store all this in a visual environment. We need a visual environment so that our projects, the dependencies of projects won't conflict. So for this particular project, we are creating a dedicated visual environment for this project. So for us to do that, we go back to our main and we move straight down to the right hand side, and you see where we have Python 3.12.2. So what we do is to click this Python 3.12.2. We click this. The moment we click that, you will see create visual environment. Create visual environment, and you can see we have number of interpreter here, number of Pythons. We have 3 of them. We have 3.12.2, 3.9.13, and 3.11.5. You can choose any of these. In your own case, you might just have one version of Python, but in my case, I have 3 versions of Python in my system. But for you, might just be one, so you choose that particular one. But for this project, we are choosing the recommended, which is 3.12.2. After this has been highlighted, we go straight to our create visual environment and click create visual environment. When we create visual environment, then you see VNV, which is visual environment, which is create visual environment in the current workspace. We click on that. Wait, then we click OK. If we click OK, we can see that it's creating our environment, creating VENV, that's visual environment. So we wait for the environment to be created. We can see there's a dedicated folder here already showing .venv. So we wait for the environment to be created. Okay, from here we can see that our environment is created. If you come down to the Python 3.12.2, you discover that we have .venv in a bracket. That shows it carries the environment. And if you come back here, you can see our environment has been created here. So this is dedicated for this project. If you are creating another project, it's a good thing you create another visual environment for such project. So what next? Since we've created a visual environment, let's try and activate it and see maybe it's running. So let's go to our terminal, create a new terminal. So we can see we are still in a global part. So let's activate our environment. For us to activate our environment, we type this .venv script activate. So we can see the difference now. We can see that our environment is activated for this project. That means whatever we install here goes straight into the environment and it will be managed in the environment. So now let's go back to our requirements. What's the first requirement here? Our first requirement is Streamlit. So what we need to do is just to come down here and write pip install Streamlit, and we'll click enter for it to get installed in our visual environment. So let's wait and see. You can see what is going on. It's downloading the visual, the Streamlit. So we'll wait for this to be concluded. Okay, we can see our Streamlit has been downloaded, has been installed on our system. So that's that about Streamlit. So what next? We go for Plotly. So same way we say pip install Plotly Express. Click enter and wait for the installation of Plotly. You can see Plotly is gradually being installed in our environment. Here we can see our Plotly has been installed, successfully installed. We can see from here, successfully installed. We'll go back and install pandas this time. So we same thing, we write pip install pandas and we click enter and wait for pandas to be installed, and this has been satisfied already because other installation will have settled that already. And the last one we have here is numerize. So we have to write install also. We write pip install numerize, enter. So we wait for numerize, and numerize 2 is successfully installed. So we have numerize 0.12. So now we've installed all our libraries, all what we required in our environment. So what next is for us to start our web app. So we'll go back to main. We have to import all what we've installed. If import does not mean it's available in your code, install means it's available in your environment but might not be available in your code. For it to be available in your code, we have to import it into our code. So we start by importing Streamlit. Also next we import Plotly. Import Plotly Express as px. Then we import also pandas. Import it as pd. And finally for numerize, from numerize dot numerize import numerize. Okay, after all the necessary requirements has been imported, the next thing we're going to do is to set the page, to set up the configuration of how our page will look like. So the first thing we do is to call on Streamlit. We go to Streamlit st.page configuration. So now we have this. So the first thing we're going to deal with here is the page title. The page title, and we put in the semicolon, in the double column, the title of our page. So for this project we call it rail. So put a comma. Next we talk about the page icon. It's not a must to put an icon on your page, but for this purpose, and if you want to do that, I'll show you a website where you can just easily go to. Here you can see this is what I've done earlier. So for you to get this, it's just to come here. It's for you to just come and type whatever you want here. For this case, we put rail. Then when you search, just scroll down a little, you see number of icons here. So we choose the one we love the most. I prefer this. I copy, just click to copy, then come back to your code. You come back to your code and paste it in between the double quotation. Paste it in between the double quotation, and that's all for our page icon. The next one is the layout of our page. The layout which we have here, the layout same in double quotation, and the layout we have two options here. If you can see, we have centered layout and we have the wide. But for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to make use of the wide. So that's about the configuration of our page. We'll see that shortly. But before that, let's give our page, our app, the page a title. Our app a title, and we'll still call on Streamlit title, and we open a bracket. And for this project, we still maintain a rel, we call it rel dataset for that page, rel datasets. So now what we do now is we still want to add some, icons to this title. So for you to do that is for you to just put a column, and we go back to our our website and look for charts. I told you type whatever you want. You can just come here. Let me just come down here. You say chart. You can see we have number of charts here. We have number of charts here, so you can just choose the one we want. So I prefer this. Let's go with let's go with this. Click to copy. It's copied already. Then we come back. You can choose whatever you want. You come back to our code. Then you paste it here. And another thing is, instead of pasting, you can still open up two columns. Then write what you want there. Chart. Streamlit to be able to go and bring out this chart for us from the same website. If you can see, whenever you put your icon, your mouse on the chart or an icon, you discover the name in between the two columns. So whenever you write the same name in your code, it will call up this icon onto your chart. Your code. So let's go back. We have this. So let's go for another chart. I want two charts. So another column, two columns. So I'll put it in between these two. Let's go back. Let's do the same method instead of just pasting. So if you go, you see bar underscore chart. Let's try and write this bar underscore chart and see the effect on our code. So we have bar underscore chart. So you see we have this for now. This will be our title. To be our title with two charts. So next, let's put some writings here. So we're going to stick on Streamlit. We'll make use of the markdown. So the markdown is just for us to it's just there for us to attach strings and manipulate strings on our app. So you can write whatever you want here, but for my case I will just copy and paste something instead of wasting our time. So let me look for something. Okay, let me paste. So you can see I just paste. You can write anything here, you can put anything here. Whatever you put here goes. So no matter the length, it goes. And let's see so far what we've done. Go to our terminal. So So after going to a terminal, what we need to do next is to write, for us to run this, to see this, we write Streamlit. Streamlit run main.py. Main.py is the name of our file here. If the name is different from this, you write same thing here. So for the purpose of this tutorial, our Python file here is named main. So that's why main is there. So what you do next is just to enter, then see what Streamlit will do. You see, we can see from here it gave us two URL. You can see the local URL and the network URL, and automatically that we just open on your browser, and you can see from our browser here we can see the title we gave, real data. Okay, no, it should be data set. We'll go back and correct that, and our two icons, first and the second icon. And also we can also see what we use the markdown to put in our web app. So we can see this. For us to adjust this data set, it should be data set, not real data. We just go back and make a small adjustment. You can see our title data set, prophetic data set. Press save. Then you go back and you can see data set. Our data set is here. So what we want to do next is to create a logo. We create a sidebar and create a logo on the sidebar. And for us to do that, to create a logo for our app, we go straight back to our code. Then we write. Before we do that, what we need to do first is for us to create the logo, we have to create. We have to have the logo's image, at hand. So for us to do that, let us go to our real app project. Folder, which we have here. So we have to create a folder called data. So we're going to bring all the necessary image we need for our logo, and also other data we need will all be deposited in this folder called data. So let's go. These what's it called? Logos that I've created with Canva. For those of us that know Canva, I use Canva to create this. So I would prefer the last one here, which is Rail Logo 5. This, and also the data we're going to make use in this project will be this. So I'm going to add both, copy both, and paste them in our app, the folder we've created. Simple. So we have the two in our data in our folder now. They are both in our project folder. So let's go back to our code. If you go back to our code, you discover we have data here already, and we have the two files here, the CSV sheet, the Excel sheet, and the image that we want to use as our logo. So what we're going to do, we call Streamlit sidebar. We say st.sidebar.image, because we're bringing in image. Streamlit, we're bringing an image. Then what do? We just as usual, our double column. Then we refer to that the parts. Our parts first. We have data, which is the folder where we have our image. After that, we put what's the name? Rail_logo 5. Logo 5.png is a PNG file file, so it's .png. So now for this will be able to bring in our logo into our app. So next, we're still going to do something. We're going to give our logo a name, a caption. So let's call it caption. So what we're going to call it? We're going to call it transport data bank. You can call it whatever you want, but for the purpose of this project, we'll call it transport data bank. So we have it this way. So we have our sidebar, and let's go and see how this look. Let's go back to our app. Then let's rerun it. You can see we have a sidebar which shows our logo, and the caption is transport data bank. It could be anything in your own case. So this, since we are using wide, you can always collapse this in or out. So these are what we have at now. So what do we do next? What do we do next? What do we do next? Now what we want to do now is to create a tab. We need to create tabs where we're going to, there will be like pages, like 4 different tabs where we have our data set, our visualization, where we have our metrics and the rest. So for us to do that, I won't like to waste our time. I'll just copy some of the code. Don't worry, this code is available in the description below. You can always copy and reuse it. So let me bring in the code and see how we're going to move on with that. First, we have tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, tab 4. And this tab we call Streamlit, which is Streamlit tab. So this Streamlit, if you check in here, we have data set, we have an icon, just like we did earlier. The second tab, we have visualization. Then we have also an icon for it. The third one, we have Streamlit, no icon. Then the last one, we have metadata, where we have chat as an icon. So we have 4 tabs, which is displayed here. And let us see how this looks. For us to make it clearer, let me write it here. Tabs. And same thing here. Same thing here. I can say sidebar. Creating this, let's see how this look. Let's go back to what's it called, the refresh. So now we can see we have 4 tabs now. Each tab, the first tab from here, which is data set with the icon, we use clipboard as the icon, and we can see it here. Data set, this is the icon. The next tab is visualization, which is icon, the third and the fourth. So we have 3 tabs here, but if you check it out, you discover that we have nothing in the tabs. They're still very empty. So what we need to do now is to populate our tabs with data. So for us to do that, we're going to make use of this data, like I showed earlier. This is the data we're going to use for this project. CSV file we're going to use for this project. So what we're going to do next, in the next video, we're going to create a database where we're going to store this. After storing it in the database, we'll now connect our database to our Streamlit. So we'll see in the next video. Thank you.